I don't care
I
if
want
it's
to be
less
on the
filling.
taste great side too, but less filling sometimes is better. It is. It depends if your brew's cold or if it's warm and where you're at.
Well, it depends. I mean, some beers are just like drinking water anyway, so you can put away a lot of those. But if you're drinking something heavy, it's not less filling, is it? But it could taste great.
Well, I don't know, man. I just think it was one of the greatest ad campaigns ever. By the way, we're on? Okay. Well, hey, everybody, welcome to the Sports Corner. Rich Estrella, John Conte. We're just here debating whether what were some of the greatest commercials back in the day. And I told him the Light Beer from Miller commercial in sports was by far the greatest ad campaign ever assembled. Better than Be Like Mike, better than all the other crap you can think of, better than Pop, Pop, Fizz, Fizz. What, is it really a sports commercial? But yes, it is. It's always a favorite on Sunday mornings when you're hungover after a hard day at Dodger Stadium, the Forum, the Coliseum. You don't really get that way at Anaheim Stadium. Maybe you do because there's hardly ever any winners coming out of there.
That's why you drink more when you're there, Rich.
Yeah, I agree. But that light from Miller commercial, didn't say beer, did I? Oh, well, I did now. But anyways, one of the greatest commercials of all time. Having John Madden at the height of his popularity, Billy Martin at the height of his what do you say? Pretty nefarious dude, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's a fair word.
Getting in fights and so forth and so on. So it was pretty interesting times. I got to tell you that much. And for those of you that aren't old enough to remember that, you ought to look it up because they're funny as you know what.
Well, the fact that we're still talking about those commercials, I mean, those commercials have to be 30, 40 plus years old. And
mid-70s.
Yeah,
probably.
so most people do know the less filling tastes great.
Old. Yep.
Is anyone paying us to say this, Rich?
No,
no. We're just doing it
on
our own, right?
We're just having a debate. We're having a friendly discussion before the show with our favorite attorney, Darren Baker, who's standing by and be joining us tonight here on the Sports Corner, by the way. But, hey, Darren, how you doing?
Look at Darren chilling out.
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen.
Darren Baker is the barrister. He is the attorney to the stars. He's the guy that everybody calls when they need something fixed. You did something stupid, or maybe somebody did something stupid to you, you need a little revenge. This is your man right here. He'll tell you how to stay out of the hooskow and how to take care of business in a above board manner, shall we say, John?
Above board indeed. As a matter of fact, there's so much going on in the NFL. Deshaun Watson is a really hot topic with his.
Going there right now?
Well, look, I just want to set the table for when we get there. That's why we have Darren Baker here, because Darren Baker is following this closely. Look, everybody wants to know what's going to happen to Deshaun Watson.
Well,
is he still going to get traded? What are the legal ramifications?
Time out, John. We're getting way ahead of ourselves. First of all, let's set the table.
Set it, Rich.
For Deshaun Watson. Now,
literally set the table?
Hey, and tell me when I'm out of line here, Mr. Barrister.
Yes, sir.
Darren, when I'm out of order, you say it, but it has been alleged, and let me say that again, it has been alleged that Deshaun Watson has now sexually assaulted 9 women now. It's up to a count of 9, and when there's 9, there's probably 19, because it's been growing since a civil suit's been filed. But, you know, it's funny, John, all this is coming out, and by the way, the last one this is coming out is because the masseuse now is coming out saying, and it was very explicit. We'll read some of it to you in a little bit because I want to get Darren Baker's opinion on it and where this could go legally. But I mean, this latest one, John, it's pretty explicit. And what's going on with Deshaun Watson? Is it because he's hot right now? He's about to sign a multi-trillion-dollar contract, and that's why they're coming out of the woodwork. Why do you think this is going on right with Deshaun Watson? What the hell is going on with Deshaun Watson?
Well, look, if it happened, it happened. It doesn't matter, when it came out. The fact is that it happened, allegedly. At the end of the day, Deshaun Watson already has a really large contract. He just wants to be traded out of Houston. My thoughts is, are you going to take a flyer on a quarterback that has these allegations against him? I think that's going to detour a lot of teams. A lot of these pro guys on the NFL Network and these other networks are saying, hey, that's not going to deter anybody. They're still going to give up 3 first-round draft picks for Deshaun Watson. I have to disagree a little bit, because do you want to bring that sort of negative light into your locker room?
Well, John, I got to say, after looking at a lot of the shenanigans that have been going on in sports and the earth in general, what if Deshaun Watson has put all these women up to it to say, yeah, man, this guy assaulted me, he's a punk, just so we can get out of there and get some big money? Because after he's done there, it's all going to go in and say, hey, we're just kidding. You're just messing around. Deshaun's now with New England, and he can't go to New England because they don't pay you. You don't get no money going to New England, so he ain't going to go there. But wherever he does land, I mean, and I'm just making light of it, okay? There's no way I think that this guy put anybody up to any of this. Obviously, this is a pattern of behavior, allegedly. Simply, we'll say that one more time, simply because there's been a lot of reports. He's in court already. But my question is this. Why now? Why did you wait? If you were assaulted, and again, I'm not picking sides. I'm just using common sense here. If you've been assaulted sexually, why wouldn't you go to the cops right away and get it on record?
Well, I think the story that's coming out happened in December of last year, and we're only a few months into the year. But if it happened in December, you do kind of wonder why it took so long, to come to a head. The timing is really, really, really suspicious because, here he is trying to move to a different team. The Texans have said, hey, we don't want to trade him. Then Wednesday they said, you know what? For the right amount of draft picks, we will trade him. Now he's got this stain hanging over him. And, prior to this, he was a 25-year-old, all-pro stud quarterback.
He was all right. I wouldn't call him a stud. He was all right.
He is an absolute stud because he can run and pass the
He
ball.
ain't no Tom Brady.
Well, athletically, he's better than Tom
Where's
Brady,
his
but
Super
that might
Bowls,
not
John?
mean anything. He's 25.
Yeah.
He just started. So, if you're a team that's on the fringe or maybe has a really good defense, yes, you want Deshaun Watson on your team. Question is, are the general managers and the ownership going to even take a chance on a guy like this, given the whole climate of our society?
Well, the one thing you said is why now? Sexy. He's got a deep pocket, and there's a reason to go after him. If you go after him now and he's looking at a big contract, that may be a reason to push a settlement and get some easy money, because you got to remember it's still innocent until proven guilty, obviously.
Well, it's not just a big contract; it's a
He already
big
has the
contract.
money. He already has the money, though. That's the thing. He's already.
John, it's the Shaq rule versus the owner's rule. Shaq's rich, but the guy that writes his check is wealthy. So Deshaun Watson is right now rich, but if this trade or he does get out of his contract, gets another one, he's going to be wealthy.
Right. Well, the other team has to assume his very large contract, and that's part of the problem of him finding a suitor, because with COVID, these salary caps are a little bit trimmed down this year. So you have to find the right suitor that has the draft capital. You have to find the right suitor that has the salary cap to accommodate his contract. So you've already narrowed the playing field down to about 3 or 4 teams. Now you throw this little stain on him, and you might narrow those suitors down to literally 1 or 2.
Interesting. Now going ahead, again, Darren, how many of these are gone to criminal?
Well, the interesting thing is he started out civil. Why wouldn't they have gone to criminal out of the gate? And I think you said it coming out, or when we were talking earlier, there's 3 civil suits against him, and one of the civil attorneys said there's 9 other people out there. Now, one, you're not supposed to use threat of criminal action to gain a strategic position in a civil action. So back to what you're saying, how many of them go? It's as many as the DA chooses to take. But it's interesting right now that none of them are there, and you'd think with a high-profile person like this, the DA would be on it quick, but right now there's nothing yet.
The thing that surprises me, though, is the one that we're hearing about now. And, of course, this morning when I woke up, they were at 3. The last time I checked, they were at 9 people coming out. The one that they're reporting on now happened in December of 2020. That is only 4 or 5 months ago. So I'm assuming these other ones happened prior to that. Can't see all these happening in this short period of time. So where were those people? Why did that not come to the forefront? Like, what the heck is going on with the timing of all this?
Yeah. In other words, try to ferret it out for us. How does this happen like that?
It happened like that. A lot of it could be psychological. One person comes out, another person goes, okay, somebody else did. I'm more comfortable doing it now. I can't really say psychologically or criminally why it comes out, but I think he's a more sexy target because he's in the news right now. And like you guys are saying, he is the quarterback of the day right now.
Hey, Darren, I know you deal with a lot of athletes, a lot of celebrities. Like, what do you tell these guys? Like, no, I'm serious. Like, do you sit them down and say, hey, listen, people are going to be coming after you. Don't leave your house. Don't send out a bad tweet. Like, what do you tell people in that situation?
Got to tell you, if I was dealing with somebody like Deshaun Watson, I would just tell him, don't go to places like that. It sounds like that may have not been the most, how shall we say, reputable spot, but I don't know. I don't know the facts behind it. Make sure somebody's there is with you. Make sure you have a witness. Make sure you have somebody to back you up.
Yeah, I would agree. We're talking about Deshaun Watson here on the Sports Corner. If you want to call, go for it. We have Darren Baker, attorney at law, 213-283-7798, 7798 if you want to weigh in on this Deshaun Watson situation.
Well, I really find the timing of all this stuff interesting. The fact that everybody's playing musical chairs in the quarterback, again, with the big money that's being ferreted out to everybody, there's no question that if I was a quarterback, I went out of my contract, I would end up like Tom Brady, playing for mid-level contracts just so I can allegedly get better players around me when all they're doing is film practices. So, I kind of don't blame some of these guys for going for all the bread. That way they can get out early, John. You want to avoid CTE at all costs. But quarterbacks don't normally get that. They don't get hit as much.
Quarterbacks are pretty well protected, but the one thing that we have to remember is Deshaun Watson already has the big payday. He already has the huge contract, so he already has deep pockets.
Yeah, he does.
And that could be why these ladies or whomever are coming after him. I'm not going to say that, but in any regard, you just have to be careful when you have a lot of money in your pocket.
Well, John, everybody knows when you have deep pockets, everybody comes after you. That's one thing investors look at when they're deciding whether or not they're going to invest in a company. That guy with the deepest pockets always gets sued, first, regardless of his position in the company. They're going after him. So Deshaun now getting all this loot, I can see maybe why they're coming out, but it's just weird. It's almost like it's a political scandal because he's trying to make a change. He's trying to make a move. It's political in a lot of ways on his end, trying to get to the team he wants, getting his agent to position him in such a way. And then all of a sudden, somebody comes in and drops all this manure. And again, I cannot say one way or another that any of this stuff is true. But as the old saying goes, Darren, where there's smoke, there's fire.
There may be fire, I agree with you, but I mean, let's be conspiracy theorists.
Right.
And this is not legal advice. This is nothing. These are not facts. But what if I don't want to let him out of the contract? What if I want to dirty him up so he's not as sexy a buy? Maybe I do something like that on one side. Again, you guys said, what if he wants to dirty himself up a little bit just to get out of it on a moral turpitude, something like that? There's so many different angles there that we don't know about. The sports press is just speculating right now.
You never see Tom Brady getting in those kind of situations, John.
Those things get swept under the carpet because he's Tom Brady. Darren
Would kill him.
Darren, she would. She wears the pants in that family.
She would kick
Hey,
his
listen,
butt.
Darren, I think what you said, your first comment was, hey, who's to say that the Houston Texans really don't want to get rid of him? Because there's no way you want to get rid of a quarterback that's that talented. Those guys are a dime a dozen.
Is he
They're
that
hard to
talented, though?
He is, Rich.
What's he won?
Rich.
Give me something that can hang on to this dude.
Listen.
He's Paul George. All these guys are Paul George till they win something.
Rich, you got to give that guy an offensive line. It's not really fair to take one guy in football. It's the ultimate team sport. He's never had an offensive line. If he goes to the right system, he can win a championship. The thing is, the Texans never wanted to get rid of him up until Wednesday. They said, okay, we'll entertain offers. So, Darren, I actually like the concept that maybe it was the Houston Texans that are leaking this stuff so the other teams don't want to bite on him. We just don't know. But I agree with you, Rich. The timing of this is really quite odd.
It is odd. And I'm thinking like Baker. I'm thinking about, maybe let's not take it at face value. Let's be conspiratorial and see what the options are. A lot of guys do a lot of crazy things. I told you, man, you're on planet Earth with the public. All kinds of crazy crap happens. You ever seen the social media? Thank God I'm off most of that, John. That crap will drive you crazy.
Well, I'm not even interested in the social media. And Rich, we talk about this all the time when we were
we do.
We were doing stuff for the Angels. I didn't like to tweet anything because look, half the people are going to love you, half the people are going to hate you. Rich, I love how it's just your face while I'm talking about
I know,
this.
but it's okay because we're shorthanded. And
Larry's multitasking back there, by the way. Larry's answering phones, running the show.
Calling. He's trying to vet these guys.
We got a call coming
Now
in.
listen, I just told you, this is the general public, all right? So whatever you get, you get. We're asking for it, and we're going to get it. Let's put them on, Larry. Whoever's on's on. I don't care where they're calling from. Just put them on.
Just throw them on. Who do we got?
Hello? Oh, hold on a minute.
How does it affect the Texans trying to get rid of him? Is that the question? Well, in my opinion,
Good question.
In my opinion, it's going to hurt the Texans because look, they lost J.J. Watt. They got rid of their best receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. So really, what do you have left? All you have is Deshaun Watson. So I don't think they had any interest in trading him, but the writing's on the wall. He wants out. J.J. Watt's gone, and that really says a lot. So if anything, I think it's hurting the Texans because now you have to rebuild from scratch. That's why they're trying to acquire 3 first-round draft picks so they can do it via the draft. Does that answer your question or help you out a little bit there?
Yeah, so I mean, if he forces his way out, if he refuses to show up, are they going to get a bigger or smaller or the exact same haul for him?
You know, I'll be honest with you.
They're going to get crap for him.
Look, they could just sit him out. They could sit him out for the whole season. He is property of the Houston Texans. I do believe that, look, I think the options have whittled down. We talked about salary cap space being an issue. A team, has to have a fit for him. He has to want to go there. I think it could be narrowed down to just 1 or 2 teams. The last 2 teams that were resurfacing as early as this morning were the Denver Broncos and the San Francisco 49ers. So I don't know. Those could be 2 teams that are in it. Other than that, I don't see too many suitors.
What about the Dolphins? Everybody's talking about the Dolphins, right? Because they can offer 2 in the draft day.
Listen, according to what I read today, the Dolphins and the Jets were off the list of targets for Deshaun Watson. Don't forget, he has a no trade clause in his contract, so he can decide where he goes. So the last thing I heard was San Francisco or Denver.
Listen, I'd rather have Andy Dalton than Deshaun Watson right now.
Hey, the Bears picked up Dalton. I think that was a great move.
That's really out of your mind.
What?
Well, Andy Dalton could be the most boring pick they could have made. I mean, it's a 1-year stopgap, I guess. After Deshaun Watson's probably a top 7 quarterback in the NFL.
100%.
Not if he ain't going to be playing this year.
But he is going to be playing. There's no way they're going to suspend him.
Well, look.
Look at the
Well,
coach
hey.
may have something a little bit different
Hey.
to say about that. You got 9
Hey,
allegations.
that's another great point.
9
there.
allegations. How many allegations Andy Dalton have? How many? 0. 0.
Hey, but you know what? This is
Thank
this is a great point. What if he lands someplace else and now he's got all these allegations against him and he gets suspended anyways? So, now he's more of a risk. Hey, Darren Baker, how often do these things, like how long does the process have to go now before there's a legal case brought against him? What's the legal process? And by the way, thank you for your call. We appreciate
You
it.
going to cut him off now?
Thank you so much.
Right on.
Right now, from what I saw, from what I read, and what you guys have said, there's 3 civil suits against him. So those are already rolling. Those are some kind of intentional tort. He touched somebody. He forced somebody to touch him. Whatever.
Oh, do you want me to tell you what happened? You want me to read
Oh,
it?
yeah, do it.
No, go ahead. We'll get to that in a little bit
Yeah,
later.
no,
Family
the
show.
other-
We
Stay
can't read
tuned.
it.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, no. The other one is that one of the civil attorneys, I think it was Busby, said that there are 9 other allegations against him. The big question is will the DA pick it up? And the DA is going to go through it. They're going to look at all the facts and then make a determination. John was saying the most recent one, we're assuming, is in December. There's probably a 2-year statute of limitations on that. So it could go for that long until there may be charges filed. But again, nobody's saying he did it. Innocent until proven guilty is the benchmark. And, the gentleman is innocent right now, but at the same time, look at the cancel culture.
Wait a minute.
If they go to San Francisco or Denver on the left coast,
Counselor.
we just got rid of Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss.
Counselor, I beg to differ. You're out of order right now. I'm going to tell you why. That's BS. That's 1950s dogma. Innocent till proven guilty. Everything I see, everybody's guilty once they're accused. And once you're
In the court of
exonerated,
public opinion.
they don't care. Nobody cares. It's not even a headline.
Hey, there's also one more thing that we're forgetting.
What are you forgetting?
Well, there's also something in the player's contract that they can be suspended for conduct detrimental to the team. So, whether he did it or not, he could still get suspended for contract, whatever he just did does not look good for the Houston Texans or wherever he may go. So there's always that possibility too. This really, really, really throws a little excitement in what's going to happen because let's not forget, I think everybody was waiting for the Deshaun Watson domino to fall before everybody else fell into place. Now we're starting to see guys just fall into place.
I mean, the stuff I'm reading right now on ESPN.com, I'm going to give the scribe his due. Oh, Sarah Barshop. Whoa, that makes it even more interesting. But anyways, a 3rd civil lawsuit filed against Deshaun Watson accuses the Houston Texans quarterback of sexually assaulting a massage therapist. Doesn't say whether they were at his place or if, and it's, man, the stuff they're describing here that he made her do is just unbelievable. I'm appalled. I'm blushing right now, John. This ain't funny, man. This is
Nothing
terrible.
makes you blush, Rich. Nothing.
Anyways, the attorney came out and threw dirt and said there's 9 more, just like it happening. I mean, he's trying his case right now in the court of public opinion because the minute we read that and we were talking about it earlier today, I mean, right away we jumped all over Watson like he's guilty. We don't know if he's guilty. We're just saying that if he is, we're using an extraordinary assumption that he is guilty. That this is a wild man on the loose right now, and I don't know if why does he have time and energy to play football after doing all this stuff, John?
Listen, that's the power of social media, the internet, all this stuff. I mean, look, back in the day, nobody knew what you were doing in your free time. Now, as a professional athlete or anybody, you can't do anything. You can't say anything. Everybody's recording you.
Look at that, John. Look at that. Can you believe they even put pictures of it? They had a video camera in that room.
Wow, I'm not gonna comment on that whatsoever. Rich can maybe give you that secret video later.
Holy moly!
But in any regard, whenever you do something like this, of course, look, we're making light of things.
That's impressive, John.
We're making light of things. But you think, oh, that is impressive.
That's impressive.
We're making light of things here, but look, if somebody was really assaulted, then this isn't funny, and he needs to.
Well, you know, John, it
goes
back to my old saying, and again, we're not on anybody's team. We're just running over this, and yeah, there's a lot of comedy in here that we throw at it, but I mean, I would have gone to the cops right away if he would have done to this poor lady what she's claiming he did. Forget going to civil court. You go to the cops.
Well, you know what, Darren?
Why wouldn't you go to the cops?
Darren, let's ask you that question because it's, maybe like you said earlier, maybe they're embarrassed. How come these cases don't go right to the police and immediate action is taken? Why did things come out so late?
And I'm sure you can answer it because all those celebrity clients you have, I'm sure that's a daily occurrence in your world. So please answer the question.
Okay, so seriously, I mean, like you guys said, if this did happen, this is a terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people, when something like this will happen to them, a lot of women, hey, a lot of men, there's a lot of guilt there. What did I do? Did I do something to deserve this? And it's really hard to come forward and say, hey, I was in a situation and somebody did some ickiness to me, and should I have not been there? Stuff like that. So I do understand that also, and you got to appreciate it and feel for somebody like that. He is a big, giant, athletic, just a beautiful specimen of a human being, and I'm guessing the person who was massaging him was smaller and perhaps subject to intimidation. That does still not mean he did anything wrong if it occurred that way. We don't know the facts yet. That's the important part to look at. And I know innocent until proven guilty, like you said, is a 1950s kind of thing.
Yep,
but
that's when it
look
ended.
at it also with trying it in the court of public opinion, sometimes that makes settlement a lot more appealing, and people will pay money to get rid of this thing a lot more quickly. So there might be a lot more angles here at work.
Well, there's so many times you hear of something and then all of a sudden it goes away. So we know exactly what's happening behind the scenes. I'm sure there's people taking settlements. I mean, we can talk about a guy like Joe Mixon, who came into the league fresh off an assault of literally punching a young lady in the face.
I saw that video.
He
14 times I watched that thing. Unbelievable.
I mean, he literally punched her in the face, but then he goes out and signs a huge contract with the Cincinnati Bengals. He pays the lady off. All of a sudden, it just goes away, and he's running the ball for the Cincinnati Bengals on a Sunday afternoon. Now, to me, I'm not a real big fan of anybody that would do that. We've seen it on video, but yet he's out there playing. She got her money. So at the end of the day, it's really up to the individual and what they want to do. And I think some of it could just be a money grab.
Possibly, absolutely. And again, who knows the facts behind it? But when push comes to shove and deep pockets are there, money changes everything. That's
why you have to be so careful. That's why, especially the NFL, they really try to spend a lot of time with their rookies. They actually do what's called the Rookie Symposium. And I think, Darren, you probably spoke there a couple times. They bring in attorneys, everybody to come in and talk to these rookies about who to hang out with, who to look out for, what to do, so on. What are you laughing at, Rich?
Well, mainly that's the reason John and Rich and I didn't play in the NFL. We couldn't get through the symposium.
That's right. That's right. But look, you can go through a symposium. Look, the NFL does this symposium just to basically check a box. Hey, we brought you in a room. We tried to give you all this information. Let's not forget, these guys are 22 years old. They don't care what you're saying. They
instant millionaires. Very little education. Most of them don't even finish college.
They're instant
millionaires. They
millionaires.
never even went except to play football.
So they're going to hang out with who they want to hang out with, no matter what you tell them. You know, the best scenario for a lot of these guys is to go play for a team nowhere near their hometown. A lot of players and agents will tell you that. We want to get away from our hometown, get away from the distractions, get away from the folks asking us for tickets. Just get away from everybody and go focus on football.
Aaron Rodgers.
Well, he didn't have a choice. He got shipped to Green Bay because nobody else wanted him.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to call us?
I didn't mean Aaron Rodgers. Who were we talking about before?
I don't know, but look, no, Aaron, we were talking about Deshaun Watson, but, you know, Aaron Rodgers, that's a guy, if it was his choice, he would have stayed in San Francisco, but they didn't pick him, so he ended up in Green Bay freezing his butt off. 213-283-7798. It's a Sports Corner. We're talking to the great Darren Baker, attorney to the stars and the athletes. We brought him on to talk about Deshaun Watson. Give us your opinion. 213-283-7798.
Interesting. All right, so free agency hit this week. We'll get off Watson for a little bit. We're going to come back to it. You know we will.
Oh, yeah. Someone will call and want to talk about
Somebody
it.
will want to talk about it. Free agency, John, just let's look at the Super Bowl champs real quick. I guess Brady got signed for 3 more years.
I think it was a 4-year deal, but at the end of the day, it's really all about just, you know, stretching out his money. Let me take a team-friendly 4-year deal. Tom Brady's always been about making sure he has good people around him. He's always taken less money. So
that's right.
This deal doesn't surprise me. The only thing that does shock me is he'll be 56 years old when the contract expires.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Again, he's the only guy that looks younger every time we see him.
You know, as old as he is, he's still not as old as George Blanda. And George Blanda was still productive at 48.
He was.
He was throwing the ball, backing up LaMonica, kicking 90-yard field goals.
Punting the ball, doing everything out there.
You know, he did kick a 90-yard field goal, but it got called back on a penalty. So it got knocked off the books, and it was a first down for Oakland, and he never got to kick again after that. Another big, long kick like that. But Blanda was something else. But, yeah, Brady's getting up there. They signed Gronk, too. Gronk got another deal, another year, which he deserves.
Well, let's not forget, Gronk's a lot younger. Gronk's only, 31, 32 years old?
Yeah, but that elbow was about 85. So, I mean, you know, he's got 3 braces on it. He's got a couple COVID masks.
Let me tell you something right now.
On that puppy.
You need Gronk
Double-bagged it.
You need Gronk for the playoffs, and you saw what he did in the Super Bowl.
Hey, he's a great guy in the locker room, too, because he's
100%.
busting everybody up. He starts, you know, going Gronkazoid and stuff like that and just, you know, tearing things up.
He's about the only guy that could probably get away with almost anything in the league. And, it's just Gronk. Gronk's the only guy in the league that does not need Darren Baker to defend him. He's the only guy that can walk away.
Stays out of trouble. Although I did see a video.
Girlfriend.
Is that his girlfriend or was that his sister?
Don't start rumors that that's his sister.
Just kidding, man.
Darren doesn't care if it's his girlfriend
I like
or
that.
sister.
He goes, hey, who cares? I don't care. Yeah, they got it going on, man. They got it going on. So this week, John, finally the Carson Wentz deal is done. I don't know why that's such a big deal. Well, I really don't know why it's a big deal, but damn it, that's all. You turn on any news media, sports-wise, and they're all making such a big deal out of like Wentz is going to make a big difference wherever he goes.
Well, first of all, that team was already on the cusp of you know, being a really good team. They added Phillip Rivers after, you know, the Andrew Luck retirement really threw that team off kilter. So they feel that, you know, Old Man Rivers was a stopgap to see what they could do. They advanced they made it to the playoffs, which I don't even remember if they won or not because they were kind of irrelevant. But to be honest with you, I think Carson Wentz is going to be a really good fit for them. Everybody said he kind of, you know, was a good fit for the city of Philly. Well, the city of Philly, they didn't fall in love with them. So he's going to go to Indy. That's a great football town. I really think he fits in there. And let's not forget, he's reuniting with Frank Reich, who has confidence in him. And look, Carson Wentz, he didn't have a lot of nods of approval last season, so he needs the fresh start. He's an athletic quarterback. I think it's a great move for the Colts.
It's kind of weird, though, because he didn't want to do an exit kind of press conference with the Philly, you know, the press. Didn't feel like maybe to get a fair shake. I don't know. I don't know what that was all about. But
well, look, he won a Super Bowl, even though he was not the one that, you know, won the Super Bowl game. But, you know, he still won a Super Bowl with that team. He had an incredible year when he was playing. And I think, you know, last year the writing was on the wall. They drafted Jalen Hurts. Then they began to play Jalen Hurts. So the writing was on the wall. Maybe he just wanted to get out of town. That Philadelphia media market is pretty brutal. Don't forget, they're the guys that booed Santa.
Jalen played Hurts? He plays Hurts all the time, huh?
Jalen played Hurts, replaced Carson Wentz. So that's why he's sitting there in Indy. And I think it was a really good move. Anytime you can reunite with somebody you're familiar with, just makes it that much better.
Hey, Darren, what did you think about that payback Brady gave Belichick by winning the Super Bowl when he left him? I didn't think that would ever happen. I'll be honest with you. I hate both those guys.
I absolutely love Belichick. It's all my system. Except for when Brady's not there, lad.
Well,
Listen, John's telling me Cam Newton's the answer. I looked at him and go, John,
No,
you gotta be
no.
crazy. You're nuts.
no, he said, what are they doing to replace Brady? And look, they tried Cam Newton last year. That was a disaster. They re-signed Cam Newton, but in addition to Cam Newton, the Patriots have gone out and they've signed everybody. They signed 2 top-tier tight ends, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. Now you've got 2 really good weapons for whoever ends up being quarterback. They picked up Kendrick Bourne, really good possession receiver. So they've gone out and added a lot of pieces. And look, they're probably going to go out and draft a quarterback, and I think Cam Newton's going to be a stopgap. But if they can replace him, they will in a heartbeat.
John, I agree with everything you say. Your knowledge is so far superior to mine, but I think the Patties need 2 really important drafts or picks. One is Gronk and the other is Brady.
Well, that's what they're trying to simulate,
love
but
it.
they're a long ways from Tom Brady. I mean, look, Cam Newton and Tom Brady, they're not even, they shouldn't even be in the same room. So at the end of the day, you could never replace the Tom Brady, but, Rich is always, he's always been down on Tom Brady until he got a divorce from Bill Belichick. And then I see Rich on the weekends wearing his Brady Tampa Bay jersey
Listen,
around town.
I told John, I don't appreciate either one of those guys for all the cheating they did in New England, but I despise Bill Belichick. I just don't like Brady for going along with the program. But he had to do what he had to do, and when he went away, I was rooting for him to at least go further than the Patriots because of Belichick. Because, again, he's setting up all that cheating. He screwed a lot of teams out of Super Bowls that they rightfully won. If he says there's nothing wrong with filming other people's practices, why doesn't he let his opponents watch their practices and film them and break them down and go into the rooms and allegedly steal playbooks and go to the locker rooms between quarters and see if they could swipe a playbook and see what's going on? I mean, there was so much shenanigans going on, it was ridiculous. And that is why I would rather see Tom Brady do well without Belichick. I'll root against Belichick anytime for that reason.
Look, I just thought it was great that he goes there and wins it in year 1. I don't think anybody saw that coming. He was going into a division that had Drew Brees. He handled Drew Brees a few times throughout the season. So he proved again he is the superior quarterback. You get him in the playoffs and anything can happen. He was bringing in guys that Darren Baker used to defend, Antonio Brown, guys like that. So at the end of the day, Tom Brady is the glue. He's the glue that can go out and get everybody. Hey, maybe Deshaun Watson will go there and play with Brady just because. I don't know.
Baker did good. He defended OJ. He was on that team. They won. He went after a couple other guys, and then we got action in here, John.
Keep going, man. Keep going.
So, anyways, then he has to go ahead and
Keep those lies. I love them.
The cleaning crew's here.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's
Never
right.
mind.
We'll
Never
keep
mind.
going.
We got a caller. That's what I'm trying to look forward to. Let's go to the caller. We'll get back to this point. Hello, who's calling? What you got? Hello? Yeah, I can hear you.
We got you. Who's calling?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on?
Another day, man. How you doing? Where are you calling from?
Oh, sorry, I'm over here, I'm Ladera Heights. I just got off work, and I'm gonna go get a burger.
Right on,
Hey,
man.
where do you get your burgers from, man? Hey, where do you get your burgers from?
Oh, yeah, have you heard of, it's called Castell? It's over here in Koreatown. They got tater tots, and you can throw some bacon. And,
Bacon, tater tots.
they be trying to charge you 99 cents for that, and I ain't paying for that.
Listen, man, listen. You had me at Tater Tots, and I'll tell you a quick little story that it's stupid, but I was at a restaurant, the lady brought me tater tots. There were like 4 tater tots left on the plate, and she took them away, and man, I was pissed. I just wanted to say that because I love my tater tots.
Hey, what do you think's going on with Deshaun Watson right now? You think any of those allegations are true?
Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
I don't know. So, over here, when we get, if you don't get a massage, first of all, you don't pay no Instagram thought to come over there and get your rub because everything's going to go out on your social media to begin with. The kind of massage I get, if it's not a lady walking on my back, I ain't getting it done. And thirdly, he too rich to be doing this. I don't know what it is. Maybe he wants to be a patriot. He's gonna go use the right crap type thing. I don't know.
Let me interrupt you really quick. First of all, I love everything that he's saying because
I think that's true.
Look, I love everything you're saying. If you go to stay there, we want to keep talking to you. If you go to a massage parlor, hopefully someone's walking on your back or cracking. You're going there to get a massage. And if you're Deshaun Watson, You don't need to do that anyways. I mean, you just don't need to be doing that.
Wait a minute. Stop. Who has more money than Deshaun Watson?
Robert Kraft?
And what did Robert Kraft get caught doing
Robert-
red-faced, red-assed, red-handed?
He's
what
an
did he
old
get caught
man.
doing?
He's an
He
old
got
man.
caught in a massage parlor.
He has
and
no
it said
choice.
happy
Not red.
endings.
He's an old man,
Happy
Rich.
endings.
Deshaun Watson, a young man. Robert Kraft, an old man. Let the old man go where he needs to go. The young man doesn't need to do that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know what? All right, I'll give you that.
All
I'm
right.
going to give him that.
Back to our caller.
All right, sorry
send
about
him to
that,
New
man.
England.
Sorry about getting off on that.
Sorry,
but
bud.
we had to clear the air on that. Go ahead.
Wait, y'all got a lawyer in there, right?
We
Right
do have a
there,
lawyer,
yep.
Darren Baker, attorney to the stars.
I got one of those red light tickets the other day. I forgot to pay for that in LA.
Did you catch that, Darren?
I did not. I'm not getting good audio on him.
Okay, well, he said he got a ticket the other day, one of them red light tickets. He wants to know, is there any way to get out of that? Are they still dealing with it? Can he get out of it
Go
because
to
of
traffic
COVID?
court, hope the cop don't show up.
What, you got
question the
COVID?
camera.
Darren, say that again, but everybody was talking. Say that again.
Go to traffic court, hope the cop don't show up, question the camera.
There you go.
There you go. Now, can't you do that online now
Yeah, can't
anyways?
you, wait a minute.
Is it
Can't
court
you,
online?
Can't you subpoena the camera to come in? Because you got a right to face your accuser, right? So the camera's your accuser. You got a right to face that dude. They got to drag that in?
That is the big thing. They're going to have to bring somebody in who runs or manages the camera, and that's who you're going to have to bring in. Right now, nobody wants to go to court and catch zombie apocalypse, so there's a large chance that he won't come in anyways, or she.
The cop, you mean, the cop.
Do you hear that?
Do you hear that?
Go run some more red lights. They're not coming.
Yeah, okay, I ain't going there, and I'm gonna say this though about the Shaw gang, and then I'm gonna talk about NFL right now. The league is lost. Like you see the players are getting all the money in the world. They're getting cut. They're not playing. There was that guy from the Raiders, the lineman. They signed all that money, and then he didn't even play, and they let him go. He's probably gonna do better somewhere else, but I think these guys, they all got to get it together. To me, the guys I grew up watching would not survive in this league because they will all be in jail for killing other players, for acting like this.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
but
agree.
there,
Bring out Lyle Alzado back. Half the league would be dead.
there was no social media. They could do whatever they want.
Impunity. You're right.
I'm about to go get me I gotta go get a spit the hand. My baby mama's been waiting for me. I haven't seen her in 2 days. She got she just got off a plane. She just got back from Mazatlan, and I'm hoping she didn't see anybody else down there. So I gotta go check out, make sure the inside is mine.
All right, bro.
Yeah, but yeah.
All right, man. Enjoy your burger. Thanks for the phone call.
Keep your wife quarantined and eat a tater tot or 12 for me. I don't know.
Calling from the Ladera area of that's out in Crenshaw.
That was a good call.
That's the Shaw brother.
That was a very good
Yeah.
call.
I wonder if that guy likes Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I don't even know if he knows who Andy Dalton is.
He
to be
knows who
completely
Andy
honest with you.
Dalton-
He knows where to find a burger. He knows where they have
find a good
tater
burger.
tots. Hey, Larry, put that number up again because I don't know what it is, but we're getting some calls here, so we should throw it out there again. Yeah, Darren, you got people calling in requests. Hey,
Yeah, they want to know about those tickets.
You want to
brother.
get out of your red light ticket? 213-283-7798. Call now. Darren Baker will get you results. Hey, Darren, by the way, how do people get a hold of you?
You can reach me on my business line at 714-770-0146, Baker Law Firm.
Lock it
go.
in your phone
Email
because
me at
lock it in your phone.
DarrenBakerLaw.com.
Hey, Darren, we've had a few athletes, well, not a few athletes, a ton of athletes that'll get DUIs, gets publicized everywhere. I mean, it seems like every time you turn on TMZ, there's an athlete
Just like last week.
trying to say the alphabet backwards. Let me ask you a question. Oh, and I did learn that when you put your arms back like Superman, they're going to handcuff you. I learned that from watching all these videos. But
That is true.
What are you talking about?
my question is, man, are these things legitimate? Like I can't say the alphabet backwards and things. Like, how do they really expect people to do some of the things they ask them to do? I
Can't you
can't
say,
do it
can I
sober.
I don't want that. Give me another one. That's bullshit.
Well, here's the deal that you're going to come at him when you go to defend it, especially if you're in trial. So if you're so I'm going to talk to the officer, whoever it may be, and go, so you had my client there? Yes. And it was in traffic? Yes. And you're a big giant police officer? Yes. And you got a hand cannon strapped to the side of your leg? Yes. And there's lights going by everywhere at night? Yes. And you're expecting my client to be able to act normal and say the alphabet backwards or walk a straight line or something like this? It's not fair to my clients. That's what you got to do if you're going to roll the dice and go to trial. Now, a lot of what happens is they're going to get diversion. They're going to go to an alcohol class and get a lot of that stuff set aside on a DUI. And that's where a lot of it goes.
Some of these guys that we see, they are just so intoxicated that, they should be grateful that they got pulled over. I mean, no joke. I mean, they should be grateful that they got pulled over. And I would hope that we don't see these guys, doing it a second and a third time. But, some of these videos are just egregious and they're just acting very irresponsibly. So, but we're glad you're there, Darren, to get them out of trouble. 213-283-7798.
Hey, we just lost Baker. Look.
We lost him?
He had to go bake something.
Look at that, man. We lost Darren Baker. You know
He'll
what?
be back.
Hey, it was great having him on, though, because he really got us in tune to what's going on with Deshaun Watson.
I'll tell you what. He's definitely thrown some new light onto the Deshaun Watson situation right now, John. I'll tell you what. 9 people. Now, I don't know if the attorney just said that. It's hearsay. If you threw it out there to try to get a settlement, like Baker said, I don't know. But if there's any truth to it, and there is 9 accusations, you got to wonder if they know each other. Better start checking their social medias and see if there's 6, 7, 8, 15, 30 degrees of separation with these women somehow.
Well, the thing is, look, if someone just came out in December and there's 9, we're trying to figure out, did these all happen? Are they just coming forward now? Will this particular individual be the catalyst for the others to come out? You just don't like to hear anybody's name associated with anything like this. And the timing of it seems to be really, really, really strange. The fact that, he's trying to get out of that contract right now seems to be really strange. I've been thinking about it the whole show. I mean, the only thing I can think is maybe Darren was right. Maybe the Texans really just don't want to get rid of him. I don't know.
Again, we don't know whether, the old saying, there's smoke, there's fire. We don't know exactly how much of this is true, how much of it isn't. But again, as you say, John, it is a pretty serious matter right now. And if we remember back, the movie that just came, remember the name of the movie, John? It escaped my mind right now. I did not see it, but I remember the story where that USC football player got accused by an ex-girlfriend because
spent his life in jail.
He broke up with her, and she was scorned, and she accused him of rape. They put him in the Hooskow for 10 years or thereabouts. She got over $1 million from USC. Then she got caught lying. 10 years later, she was bragging about it, and they got her on it. And now she's in jail. She owes the university all that money, and the guy's out of prison. But luckily, he got to sell the story. He could have been an NFL guy. And I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all, but why should somebody, get to destroy somebody's life like that and get away with it? I mean, this guy had promise. He was a very good athlete.
That was a terrible story. And yes, he was on his way to the NFL, Rich. There's no doubt about that. The name of the movie is called Just Mercy.
Just Mercy,
and,
okay.
And look, it's a very sad story. It's really sad to think about, individuals that have no integrity. I don't know how you could do that to somebody and sleep at night. This man spent a decade in prison when he could have been on the football field or just being productive in society. So
making his life.
You just hate to hear things like that. The good news is he's out. Bad news is he probably missed his window for the NFL, but at least he's a free man.
Missed everything. The only thing he got, though, he got a movie made out of him. I'm sure he's getting paid on that. And again, it doesn't compensate for being in jail for 10 years for nothing, just because a relationship broke up. But these are the kind of things that go on out there, man. That's why we got to look at Watson. You got to say, yeah, it sounds pretty bad, but let's get the whole story before we make judgment. Of course, on this show, we're always going to make judgment.
We are. Well, the thing that's alarming is if we were talking about one individual that came out, it's kind of a different story. I think we can go along those lines.
Yeah.
But if there's 9 allegations, and again, they're allegations, but there's 9 of them now.
Yeah.
So, is it going to be 12 tomorrow? Is it going to be 15 the next day?
There's allegedly 9 allegations, and there's allegedly 9.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. 213-283-7798. Don't know what happened to Darren Baker. He'd be setting us straight, telling us how to navigate through this, but he's not here. Join us, 213-283-7798. What else should we talk about, Rich?
Well, I just want to get back to the free agency now. Kind of, it's not really free agency because we're talking about the NBA now, where looks like Blake Griffin has narrowed it down between the Lakers and Brooklyn.
Oh.
Obviously, the 2 front runners to win the NBA title, but let's not be so hasty now because, John, like I told you, when Anthony Davis got hurt, this is an injury that he's had for a while. It's lingering. I told you the minute it happened, I'm not confident this guy's going to be back this year, and if he does come back, he'll probably be lame.
A lot of these injuries take time to heal, and being that the Lakers played the most games last year and came back right away after so many, about a month's worth of rest or a month and a half, they came right back onto the court. He hasn't had time to heal proper. So there's a possibility we may not see AD back this year. So should Blake Griffin sign with the Lakers or should he sign with Brooklyn, John? Simple question.
Well, to me, it's funny that he's debating between, the two teams that are, kind of favored to go to the title. So to
win.
me, that's just a bunch of garbage. I think
that's what everybody's doing, though, John.
It is.
Durant made it passe. He made it in vogue.
Look, Blake Griffin of 10 years ago, send him anywhere, he's going to make a difference. I don't know how much of a difference Blake Griffin is actually going to make. If you send him to the Lakers, again, nobody is going to take the place of Anthony Davis. All the Lakers have to do is get in the playoffs, which we know they will. Anthony Davis is, look, he's already on 4 weeks rest. He's going to take another 2. That's 6 weeks. I think the way the Lakers are looking at it is, look, we'll let Anthony Davis rest as long as possible. They've got guys like Kuzma. They've got guys like Schroeder that are carrying their game right now. I don't even think they need Blake Griffin.
Well, he's out there, and I don't think it would hurt their stable, but Blake Griffin hasn't been Blake Griffin since his second year with the Clippers.
Right. I mean,
still not a champion. He still hasn't led a team. He was supposed to be the end-all, be-all like everybody's supposed to be when they come out. And so far, he really hasn't panned out.
Well, let's look. He had Chris Paul in his prime.
Yep, he did.
And, he had some really good players on that team, and he just couldn't get it done. Then he turned out to be a complete head case. Wasn't he getting in fights with equipment people and so on and so forth?
He wasn't dating a Kardashian, was he?
Probably.
That's usually what happened. He might have been doing it on the down low, and that's what happened to him. That's why he
crashed
and burned, because everybody crashes and burns with those broads.
Yeah, but look, he was in L.A., he wanted the spotlight. He got the spotlight. He got Chris Paul. They didn't do anything with it. And, man, what a disaster for the Clippers that turned out to be. So, look, you put Blake Griffin anywhere, sure, he's going to give you a few solid minutes, but I don't think he's a difference maker on either team.
But if he goes to Brooklyn, he doesn't have to work that hard. He can actually just hang out. You got Harden, you've got Kyrie, and you've got Durant.
He wouldn't have to do much.
All those guys want the ball. Blake Griffin doesn't have to do very much at all. He can just cherry pick.
He'd have to work a little bit harder with the Lakers, and he could do a little bit less with the Brooklyn Nets. But look, he probably likes it in LA better. He was a Clipper for a while. Probably has some nice real estate here.
Yeah,
and
I'm assuming.
It just depends if he's an East Coast guy or a West Coast guy. And look, if you're going to jump on a team, I guess those are one of the two hottest teams to jump on to go collect that hardware.
I'm assuming he will come to Los Angeles. Again, for those reasons you mentioned. He already has lived here, probably has real estate here, weather's better. Who wants to live in Brooklyn? Hello?
I don't.
Hello? Anybody want
if you want to live in Brooklyn, 213-283-7799.
You ever been out there, John? Brooklyn is nothing like Los Angeles. Over there, they live on top of each other in tenement buildings like rats. We're spread out like rats. So,
that's why you look at like COVID numbers in New York and stuff like that, because literally that is the most, it's just dense housing. There's people everywhere. I have spent some time in the Brooklyn area, and I was there in the summer, and let me tell you something, that humidity, it's not a nice place to hang out. So Blake Griffin, you might want to choose the beach, buddy.
By the way, your boy LeVar Ball was talking again this week. I heard him on a couple of platforms talking about LaMelo. At some point, he's going to get him to the Lakers. That's what he's talking about now. It's unfortunate he's been banned from ESPN because he was entertaining. I don't care what anybody says. If nothing else, that dude, he may have been full of it, but he was sure as hell was entertaining and was, talking smack about everybody. He was talking smack about Michael Jordan today. They were calling him out about saying he could beat Jordan one-on-one, that he's undefeated and all that. Now, we both know Jordan would tear him up, but I like a guy with bravado that can come out and say it like he believes it, that can actually beat MJ. We know he can't beat MJ, but it sure is funny as all hell to hear him say it.
Oh, it is. And look, we used to talk about LeVar Ball ad nauseum because
back in the day,
he was in the news every single day, and it was usually for saying something stupid. But, this was back when Lonzo Ball came to the Lakers. Look, now he's got LaMelo Ball, who can really, look, both of his kids can play. So he doesn't have to say as much anymore. He did his big part trying to hype up the big baller brand, and I never got my shoes, even though I didn't order any.
Well, LiAngelo China Ball didn't make it.
No, he
did not make it.
But we knew that because he was the
lazy.
one ball that we talked about.
He was lazy.
He was the one ball out of the 3 balls that we talked about that really didn't. You had 2 good balls out of the 3.
Yeah, 2 good balls.
2 good balls played defense, and then one ball was just kind of out of
Two
place.
good balls is all you need in life, John, and apparently he's got two good ones in LaMelo and the other one.
Yeah. Having
Lonzo.
having 3 balls can be a problem, so most people just like to have 2 balls.
Yeah, so that's why there's only 2 in the NBA right now. But I would love to see LeAngelo come play with the Lakers. I doubt they can get that deal done, but it would be something else.
So there's 2 balls in the NBA right now. 2 balls.
Yeah, there's 2 balls only, and there's 1 in the foreign leagues,
Got it.
foreign legion. But I would like to see LeAngelo come. He was a great high school kid out here. It's too bad his dad meddled in his collegiate career, because I think he'd have been great playing college ball here in the United States instead of having to go overseas and play in some European league where you get lost. You know, he should have been out here playing for UCLA or somebody like that. You know, but you know, you got to do what your parents tell you, I guess, John. You don't get those choices unless you get emancipated.
Hey, look,
that one up.
out of the 3 balls, he's got 2 good balls.
Yeah, we understand that, John. Thank you for the anatomy. I mean, for the NBA question, but I mean answer. But that is good. I can't remember when 2 brothers played together. It's been so long. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm talking about in the NBA, John. Yeah, I got you. I don't think the Brooks brothers ever played together in the NBA. And I don't think the other kids that went to Stanford, I can't remember their names right now, but there was 2 of them. But anyways, the centers that also played, but I don't think they ever played together in the NBA. So interesting stuff here. But a father and son has been a coach and a player in the NBA, the Dunleavys.
That's right. They sure did.
That's one of them I can remember right now. Anyways, Larry, how much time we got? We got to get out of here, man. It's time. We've already beat this dead horse. We beat Sean Watson up. We ran Baker off, Esquire Baker.
He left us. He left it right.
You know what happened? He couldn't talk about the OJ thing, and he was involved in that thing.
He was ready. He was about ready to defend
he
him.
knew. No. That's the rule. He's one of the guys that couldn't write a book or talk about a movie or anything like that. So I think when we started laying on the OJ thing, he had to drop out. I don't think that was a mistake. You know what I mean?
Mistake on our part. But hey, I thought it was a fun show. It was great having Darren Baker on because we can get that perspective of, what's really going on. Again, those are allegations only.
On the way out, we'd just like to say one thing. We did a show earlier tonight, the SoCal Prep Report. We're so happy that the kids in California are getting to play sports before the school year ends. Such a travesty. In California, we're sitting here, the kids are, watching the rest of the nation play their sports. Well, they have to sit home, hiding from the invisible flu bug. And, let's face it, John, some of these schools played 14-game schedules, 15-game schedules. They played their state championships, their state playoffs. The same time we here in California were just sitting on our hands. And again, it had already ravaged the east coast of the United States and was coming our way. But per capita, we had we didn't have it as bad as the rest of the country did, John.
And you had so many folks that were literally taking their children out of school in California
and going to
moving to
different states.
Utah, going to Arizona,
Idaho.
going to Nevada because they wanted their kids to play. The nice thing about California is the high school football season is back. I had the pleasure.
Problem though, John. No, I know you had a game, but I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the problem is the kids can only play one sport, and there's 18 sports being played right now.
But the nice thing is, football is back. I did have an opportunity to do some color work on a game with Bob Gibson last week. It was Villa Park Orange game, and look, you had the band out there. You had, as many festivities as you could. So you got to start thinking about the band, the ASB team, just everybody that comes together to do. It was just nice to see everybody get together and actually put on an event. Yes, there were less people. I think it was limited to 2 to 3 family members.
4.
But at the end of the day,
per kid.
We still had football. It was a little bit different, but it was still nice to see these kids out there. But the one thing that I did notice, Rich, and this goes right to your point, these rosters were incredibly small because, like you said, a lot of these kids are currently playing other sports.
John, you got to make a decision, man. Most of the kids that play 3 sports, I can't imagine having to make that decision back when I was in high school. I was a 3-sport athlete. I always had sports in every season.
Did they have pickleball then?
Pickleball? We had warball pickleball. Pickleball's too weak for my school. We had warball. We used to cut class all day. The coaches every PE period would have this. It was literally a 10-foot big old ball. It was like a canvas medicine ball. It was huge. And you'd get 50 dudes on one side and 50 dudes on the other, throw it on the football field and play soccer with it. You're pushing it. And we would just spend the whole day out there playing that, even though we were supposed to probably be in class. John.
It was just one big ball?
Back then you can do it. There's only one big A ball, my brother. And it was huge. It was huge. It was massive. And then one day somebody did take a knife to it during a game, and that was the end of that.
Well, so are we going to take this call or are we going to get out of here?
No,
let's
I don't even
let's
want
see
to
what
take
they
another
want.
call.
Let's see what they want.
I don't even know if anybody can hear these calls. What do we got? We got another minute.
Do we get another minute?
It's dangerous.
Should we take it?
I don't know.
We got another
if
call?
should take this. No. Okay.
Should we get out?
Yeah. We're done.
we
Anyways,
out?
John, that's it. We've got a lot of stuff covered today, and I don't know what else to tell you, my brother. It's time.
I don't know, man. Let's see. We beat it up. We talked about the large ball. We talked about the 3 balls.
Yeah, it's been a ball night. Hey, I'd like to thank our barrister tonight for joining us, Darren Baker, always a fun guy.
Darren Baker. Love that guy.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm sure when we come up next week, we'll have more on the NFL in terms of who's going where, now that everybody can finally talk instead of making pretend players aren't going different places. And it ought to be interesting to see what happens. All right, on behalf of my friend here, John Conte, I'm Rich Estrella saying so long to your friends here at the Sports Corner. Join us next week. We'll have more fun and frolic for you. Good night. See y'all next week.